Hello guys, my name is Lucas and welcome. Today we're going to be including a PHP connection settings file so that we don't have to create a connection on each of our PHP scripts. Before we begin, I want to deeply thank all of my subscribers, especially those of you who support me on Patreon. Thank you so much. In this Unity Backend series, we have created a lot of different PHP files, and most of them connect to our server to get information from our database. We started by creating variables and making a connection to our server using those variables. However, this is not the best approach. Imagine you have 100 PHP files and all of them require access to your server. What will happen if we have to move to another domain, or maybe we have to change our username for some reason? Then you will have to change the variables for your connection on each of the 100 files. So that's why we can use the include or require statements in PHP. You may try to think of the include or require statement in PHP as using in C#. We usually tell Unity that we want to use the system library, so we say using system or using unityengine.ui, etc. So we can do something similar with PHP and tell it that we require or want to include another file, another PHP file. And the difference between require and include is that require needs you to have the file, otherwise it will have an error, while include will only show a warning, but the script will continue to run anyways. Right now we can log in into our database and get our items information. So for example, test user 123456, and I should get the items for that user. Now, as I said, this connection is created here inside get items IDs, and same happens here inside get item and all of our PHP files. So let's create a new file that we can require from our other PHP scripts so that we don't have to change the connection settings on each of our PHP files. So I'm just going to call this connection settings.php. Let me save it as PHP here. And we're just going to do the same that we do in all of our scripts. So I'm going to take these variables and create a connection. Now here in get items IDs, we can actually use the connection from our connection settings, and that means that we don't have to create it inside this script. So we can just remove this, and we don't need these variables either. So let me save this and try it one more time. Test user 123456, and you will see that we have an error. This error here should be in line 7. So here, this connection variable is not defined yet. So instead of defining it here like what we were doing, we're just going to require the file which already defined it here. So require connection settings.php. And remember to save this script in the same folder that you're saving your scripts on your server, otherwise it won't be able to find it. Now let's try this one more time. Test user 123456, log in, and there we go. So now we actually got the information again, and we didn't create a connection here, but we created here. So now we can replace all this in all of our scripts that require a connection to our server. Another thing I like to do, since these variables will be reserved and you won't be able to use them in your other scripts, you can actually remove these variables and just use the values directly on your connection. So instead of server name, I'm just going to type localhost. Instead of username, I'm just going to type here root, and password is nothing, and the name of our database. So now I can get rid of these variables so that I can freely use them locally in any of my scripts. Let's try it one more time so that we make sure that it works. Test user 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and log in, and there we go. So guys, that's how we create a connection settings script for using it from all of our classes, so that once we need to change, if we need to change something in our connection settings, we just need to change them once. Another good thing of having a connection settings file separately from your scripts is that it increases the security. For example, if you're working in a team and you don't want someone to know the password and username to the server or database, they can simply use the required connection settings, but we can deny them access to the connection settings.php, so only a person with enough privileges can see what the password and username is. So that's it for this video, guys. It was quite short, but I hope you learned something from it. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments, and please remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me a lot. I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.